Hey, it's me, Bob33, and I'm here to talk about the Nintendo NX for a moment. Now, for those who know, E3 is over, and Nintendo Direct is debatably one of the worst E3 conference they ever had, maybe even worse than the 2008 conference. But the main problem with that is Nintendo seems to be giving up on the Wii U, and I don't really blame them. And they also seem to be a bit more focused on the next console, the Nintendo NX. That's the code word for the time being. And I came up with a few games that they should make as launch titles, to have a great start and pretty much prevent what happened to the Wii U. Now, keep in mind, I don't expect Nintendo to make all these games. Maybe not even half of them. I got like over 10 of them, maybe about 15. But I think if Nintendo make these games with the right features, I think the Nintendo NX will have a great start and maybe be one of the greatest console ever. Despite they don't add like some necessary gimmick, because I believe they work better as peripherals. Like if they want to release like a gamepad for the NX, they should do it as a peripheral and so on. But right now, I'm just talking about the game here. Excuse me, I'm got a bit of a frog in my throat here. But anyways, here are the games that I think that should be released on the Nintendo NX as a launch title. Again, I don't expect all these to be out at once, but here's a few ideas, just in case magically Nintendo happened to be watching this video. Now, while I'm doing this, as you can see here, I'm having some footage of Shantae and the Pirate's Curse on there. That's going to be my next review, hopefully by next week. So enjoy that while I list all the Nintendo games that I have on here. Now, the first one is Metroid Prime 4. Now, I'm assuming Retro Studio is making that one, while maybe a small team's helping making the 007 Wii U game. But Metroid Prime 4, I think, needs to be made because people are begging for a Metroid game. And granted, a Metroid Prime game is coming to the 3DS, but for those who've been keeping up with the news, there's a huge negative reaction to that game, even starting a petition for that one. So I think Metroid Prime 4 would be a great start, and especially to have online multiplayer, which Nintendo, well, despite Smash Bros., Mario Kart, and Splatoon, they don't add a lot of online multiplayer to a lot of their games, mainly their, I guess, single-player focus game. And Metroid Prime would be an extra game to have online multiplayer. Now, the second one is also a shooter, and that is a sequel to Splatoon. Now, granted, I don't really expect this till maybe 2018, since the first Splatoon just came out this year, a couple of months actually. But since this game is pretty popular in Japan and I think in Europe, now granted it's not the biggest franchise, but I think Splatoon deserves a sequel, especially on the NX. And I think it will help boost sales in Japan. That game is a Star Fox sequel or prequel. Now, granted, Star Fox Zero is already being released on the Wii U coming this holiday. But I think another Star Fox game needs to be made, mainly because of one thing, and this may be a constant thing throughout this is, and that's online multiplayer. Even if they make just a Star Fox game that's just mainly a online multiplayer game, I think that would definitely boost sales because I can picture people getting addicted to that. But even though it's just add a little story mode that's pretty short compared to other Star Fox game, I think people will still eat that up quickly. Now, number 4 is a sequel to Nintendo then. Now, with Amiibo being more popular and assuming they're going to have Amiibo support on this next console, Nintendo Land 2 would be a great game to have like you know, download it with the console that you buy. Maybe add, have a little bit of feature available, without Amiibo, and then the more Amiibo you put on there, the more part of the game you open up. Just an idea right there. Now, number 5 is two possibilities for a Mario game. Now, the first one is a sequel to Mario Galaxy 3, mainly because it's probably quicker to release a direct sequel of a Mario game rather than coming up with a new idea for a 3D Mario game. I expect Nintendo to do that, around 2018, 2019 or somewhat. But if they really want a 3D Mario platformer, another installment of the Mario Galaxy series would be a great choice. Now, either they can do that or a Paper Mario sequel, and by Paper Mario sequel, I mean, somewhere like the original Paper Mario or Paper Mario Dash in Your Door, because people have been missing that style of gameplay. Now, Super Paper Mario was okay, although I think that would have worked better as, a main series Mario game. And, well, Paper Mario Sticker Star, well, less said about that. But they should really go back to the old formula. I'm pretty sure people will really appreciate that. Now, number 6 involves Tecmo Koei, who has a great relationship with Nintendo, and you probably know them for making the Hyrule Warriors series. A new one just being announced for the 3DS. But I want Tecmo Koei to make something different. Well, not different, but back to one of the old titles that I believe Nintendo owns, and that's the Fatal Frame series. Now, I believe there's a Fatal Frame game on the Wii U that might be only available in Japan. I didn't really keep up with that game, but I believe that a Fatal Frame game would be an excellent idea, although you can argue that another Hyrule Warriors game would be more profitable and probably easier to make than a Fatal Frame game, which I won't disagree with you there. But I think with 2 Hyrule Warriors games already being out, I think it's time to take a break for that series and maybe wait till 2018 or 2019 to make another Hyrule Warriors game. Now, number 7 is a long time coming, which I'm surprised Nintendo didn't already make one of these, and that's another Pokemon Standing the Night game. I believe the last Pokemon game, not counting the Pokepark games or any other spinoff, was Pokemon Battle Revolution, which was a bit of a disappointment, but still pretty fun. I think now it's overdue for another one of these games. It's definitely going to be a system seller. Number 8 is, well, it's a third-party game, and Nintendo did this with the Wii U console. That's another Monster Hunter game. Now, when they did this for the Wii U, I believe it was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. They also had a 3DS version, but I think this time, if Nintendo came up with Capcom to make another Monster Hunter game, just to make that one exclusive to the Nintendo NX, because I think more people didn't really go buy the Wii U one, mainly because most people already had a 3DS. Again, just a crazy idea. Number 9 is definitely an Animal Crossing game. Now, again, with the E3 2015 announcement, Nintendo did announce it in Animal Crossing, but it was more of a party game. This time, they should definitely, make a true Animal Crossing game. And if they somehow make this a launch title, bam, it's instant money right there. Now, number 10 is a Zelda remake. Either that or a port of Zelda Wii U. Kind of like they did with Twilight Princess, but I believe Zelda Wii U would be out in 2016. like maybe months before, or even a whole year before Nintendo NX, assuming Nintendo, do the traditional release their new console in the holidays. Now, I think a good set of remake title would be a remake to Twilight Princess. I heard people want a remake to that game, but a remake of any Zelda game would be fine. Well, maybe not Ocarina of Time or Majora Mask, because those have already been remade on the 3DS. But a Zelda remake would be pretty good. A pretty good idea. Now, 11 is a bit of a crazy one. Stay with me, but a Donkey Kong Country series game. Now, this one, I don't want this one to be made by Retro Studios. No, this Donkey Kong game, I think one developer would be great for making this game. And assuming they finish the game in 2016 like they plan to, I think this Donkey Kong Country game should be made by Playtonic Games. Now, Playtonic Games is currently making Yooka-Laylee, which is a spiritual successor of Banjo-Kazooie. And Playtonic Games also consists of the staff that made the original Donkey Kong games on the Super Nintendo. I think this would be a great fit. And although Donkey Kong is not much of a system seller back then as it was right now, I mean, it's not much of a system seller as it is now than it was back then. Excuse me right there. But if they release this game in 2018, and assuming that the Nintendo NX has a pretty good start, I think this game will sell well and maybe boost more system sales. Now, number 12, again, this is probably the most, well, maybe the second most craziest one. Actually, all of them is pretty crazy here on out, but number 12, and you probably heard this one so many times, I'm kind of predicting a new Earthbound game, whether it be a remake or an actual brand new sequel. Now, I know that the person who made Earthbound says that they have no plans of continuing the series, but with the recent release of Earthbound Beginnings, or remake actually, I think at least Nintendo is kind of testing the idea of making another Earthbound game, and they're doing it by seeing how well the Earthbound Beginnings sells. And if it sells pretty well, then I think we may get that announced in 2017. I mean, not as a launch title. I don't think they're going to make an Earthbound game really quickly. Excuse me. But if it does well, they may consider it. Now, number 12 is Fire Emblem spin-off game. Now, much like Hyrule Warriors, which took the Zelda franchise, excuse me, I've been talking a bit too much. Need to get a drink of water. Excuse my unprofessionalism here, but like I was saying, with Hyrule Warriors taking the Zelda franchise to a different genre, I think Nintendo should try somewhat of a similar same thing with the Fire Emblem series, which is also a somewhat popular franchise from Nintendo. I mean, granted, recently it's been on the Nintendo 3DS, but if they really want to bring the Fire Emblem series to the home console market, I think making a spin-off game would be a great idea. Now, keep in mind, this is a crazy idea, and I think developers that should make this Fire Emblem spin-off game would be Platinum Games. Make it somewhat like a Bayonetta game minus the fan service. I think it's a crazy idea, but I think a Fire Emblem game with that style could fit in such fine. Now you could argue that Tecmo Koei could probably make a game similar to that, but I guess more Dynasty Warrior like, but we really don't want two of those games. And I think a game like this will help put Pratt-10 games more on the map. I mean, yeah, people know them, but they don't really buy the game that much, and this could be Nintendo version of Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. Again, a very crazy idea, but I think it's worth giving it a try. Now, the last game I want Nintendo to make for the Nintendo NX is a Kid Icarus sequel. A sequel to Kid Icarus Uprising, to be more specific. That game was so great. I'm a little surprised that a sequel to this game hasn't been made yet. Now, granted, Sakurai, the person, the head developer of Sora, or Project Sora, don't usually like to make sequels a lot. I guess with a small exception to Smash Bros., but I think that's really more of contractually obligated to do so rather than wanting to do so. But I think a sequel to Kid Icarus Uprising would be a great addition to the Nintendo NX console. That's pretty much it. Again, I don't expect, maybe not even half of these games to be, made for this system, or at least not right away. But I really want this new console to do very well. And even though Nintendo Wii U, I thought, is a pretty underrated console, I really think Nintendo should do better than to market this console, because I don't want them to become the next Sega, although Nintendo's more financially stable, I believe. And granted, Nintendo don't make crazy decisions as much as Sega, but still, I still want this console to do very well, because without Nintendo, then, well, even though I don't despise Microsoft or Sony, Nintendo offers something different that you can't get anywhere else. Maybe from a small development company, like an independent developer, but that's about it. For the most part, it feels like most games are pretty much the same. But anyways, Nintendo, hopefully a new console do better than a Wii U. This is me, Barbadilly3, and if you have any ideas for games for the Nintendo NX, please list them below in the comments, in the comment box. Sorry about that, it still got a frog in my throat. But I catch you guys later, and stay tuned for my Sante and the Pirate Curse review.